In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to grow your arms in the most time efficient way. Roll the intro. You go into any gym in the world and the first thing you see is people doing biceps because they think it's going to get big arms. Biceps are really important, obviously, but triceps are the thing that's going to make up the majority of your arm. And biceps are a really small muscle group. Now, some common mistakes that people make when I see them training arms is they're using heavy weight with terrible form. I used to do it all the time as well. I really used to focus on the weight because the big guys were lifting heavy stuff. And I thought, hey, that means I'm going to get big arms. Big mistake. I need to focus on the form over the weight. Tempo as everything. Focusing on the concentric phase, that's the upward phase of the movement. The eccentric, the negative, that's the downward phase of the movement. The tempo is really, really important because the muscles don't know how much you're lifting, they know how much tension you're creating on the muscle. And how you create that tension is through good form and progressive overload. Now, when people do bicep curls, most people are swinging like they're in a swingers club, right? Don't be doing that, because all that's going to happen is you're going to work your front delts more than your biceps. So whenever you're swinging about, your shoulders are engaged more. So drop the weight and focus more on the contraction of the bicep and control every aspect of the bicep. Your arms will look better as a result of that. Broadly speaking, when you're doing bicep curls, you want to keep your elbow tucked in and really focus on the contraction. Now, a lot of people are going to argue with this. I've just found this works well for me and my clients. Whenever I'm doing bicep curls, I don't go all the way up to the top because for me, it's not peak contraction. So I stop around where my chest or nipple is, and for me, that's a much better contraction on your biceps. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think in the comments.
A lot of people think you need
to grow your arms. I think for most people, it's a waste of time. If you're doing pushing movements, bolt on your triceps. And if you're doing pulling movements, bolt on your biceps, because most people are lacking size everywhere. And cheat code to growing your arms is really to just get bigger everywhere. Now, the biceps don't need a lot of work because they're a small muscle group, okay? So really, most people can get away with 2 exercises. And you're just going to change the volume and reps depending on your situation, depending on what phase you are in training. So biceps, what exercises are good? I always think if you're quite new to this, a dumbbell curl or a bicep curl works well, a barbell curl. Now, be that an easy barbell curl, which is easier on the wrists, okay? A lot of people, when they're doing a straight, they don't have full supination, which is turning your arm. I can't fully supinate my arm, so I use an easy bar curl. Now, this is good because it's good for you to be able to get progressive overload with this. The main thing is to be mindful of swinging, okay? It doesn't matter about the weight, it's about the contraction and the control of the set. If you're doing really well with a curl of any sort, so a dumbbell curl or a barbell curl, and you want to get a bit more specific, a curl where you're bracing, okay? A preacher curl, or a curl where your elbow is supported on a bench. The more we have for bracing, the more we can use for muscle growth and maximize progressive overload and hypertrophy. So bracing, when you're trying to grow muscle, is a really good thing. Quite advanced, so up to you. You swap in a barbell curl, a dumbbell curl with a supported curl. Up to you. And then secondly, something that really blew up my arms is a hammer curl. Hammer curls are great because they work your forearms, as well as a different part of your bicep. It pushes out your bicep head more and gives the illusion that your bicep is bigger. So a form of hammer curl, be that a rope hammer curl, a dumbbell hammer curl, a reverse barbell curl, is a really good way of doing this. Sets, reps, all this kind of stuff. I would devote more time to a curl. 5 sets, 3 working sets, 2 warm-ups. So warm-ups don't count. These are sets where you're not going anywhere close to failure, and the working sets are you trying to get as close to either form failure or muscle failure as possible. Then moving on to a hammer curl variation. By that point, you should be pretty fried. Anywhere from 3 to 5 sets of that. The volume depends on your skill level, your journey, and all this kind of stuff. So it's really variable. But really, that is all you would need for biceps. And then it's the frequency aspect. So if you're doing push-pull legs, you can just repeat that again or do it once a week. It doesn't matter. That bicep workout is pretty much how most of you would need until you get really advanced. And even to this day, I still only do 2 bicep exercises. I'll interchange certain exercises when I hit a plateau, swap something out, change it in, and then try and make progress again. Super simple. The thing that's going to make your arms look the biggest is triceps, okay? There's 3 heads to this, more meat for you to grow. People get wild with triceps and think they need a whole lot, but the reality is, if you focus on a few exercises and do them incredibly well and progressive overload them, you're not going to need a lot. Now, to hit all 3 heads of your tricep, you need a press of some form. So what do I mean with that? Now, you're going to need either a dip. Now, a dip is a fantastic exercise. It really hits the triceps well. It doesn't just hit the triceps, obviously hits shoulders and chest. But a dip is a fantastic movement because you're going to be able to get stronger with that, and the basics really do work. For 10 years I did dips and my triceps are a real strong point. Now, if you can't do dips, your alternative would be an assisted dip machine. And if your gym doesn't have an assisted dip machine or you're working from home, then you have a bench dip. Bench dips are great. As you progress as well, you want to elevate your feet, and that's going to make it harder, and then you can even get someone to add weight onto you, okay? But dips are a good cornerstone for most people to start with. One of my favorite exercises and something that I really worked hard on is a close grip bench press. A close grip bench press is an incredible movement for triceps. Again, we're not just hitting the triceps, obviously, we're hitting chest, shoulders as well. But most of you are not in a position where you're overwhelmingly big and you don't need to be as specific as what a bodybuilder might need to be. So a close grip bench press is great. Main things to think about here is you want to keep your grip shoulder width apart. Now, a lot of people, they make the mistake, they go in really close because they think, oh, I need to work my triceps. You're just going to strain your wrists. So shoulder width apart, and you want to keep your elbows tucked in. You want to glue those elbows to your rib cage as you're pressing, okay? This is a fantastic exercise because you've got a lot of range to go up in weight on this. My best close grip bench was probably around 150 kilos, and my triceps were pretty amazing at that point. So really good one to go for. Again, weight isn't always as important. Form is the most important over everything, but it's good to make progress. From there, within the pressing category is what most people do is a cable pushdown. Cable pushdowns are great, fantastic. A lot of mistakes I see people doing is they hunch over like this when they're doing it. Again, you're going to be working your front delts. Retract your shoulder blades, chest up, keep your elbows in, and focus on getting that range. So fully get those arms up and fully press those arms down. Great movement, easily accessible. For a lot of people, they need to develop strength everywhere. And I feel like if you can devote your time initially on dips and close grip bench, and then use that as like a little finisher, change it out here and there, that's going to do really well. Now, finally, a really important part is you need an overhead movement. This is going to get the long head of the tricep, the biggest part of your tricep. An overhead movement is really important. So be that a overhead rope, an overhead tricep extension, which I lack the mobility for, or a skull crusher. Skull crusher is great. What you're seeing me do now is a decline dumbbell skull crusher. This is one of my favorite movements because you're on a decline, so it already forces your tricep in a bit of a stretch position. You're using dumbbells and you don't have to use a lot of weight. It's a really fantastic movement. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think in the comments, and maybe write down what your favorite overhead movement is. Now, if you have a lot of pain in the tendons as you're doing overhead movements, this is a great one for you because I can't do a lot of overhead movements. I get a lot of pain with that. So give it a shot. Okay, to summarize, 2 bicep movements is all that most people need. Focus on the form over the weight. Bracing is going to really help you to feel and contract your biceps more if you're struggling with other areas to feel the movement. Triceps, again, most people only need 2 tricep movements, okay? A pressing movement. Focus again on maybe 3 working sets, 3 to 4 working sets, and then an overhead movement, 3 to 4 working sets. That's what I would say generally most people would need, and you're going to get an incredible result with that. Now with the triceps as well, if you really want to, and you have the time, you could do 3 movements, absolutely no harm with that. So my 3 movements would be maybe a dip, a cable push down, and then a dumbbell skull crusher. That would really max out everything, right? We're talking about time efficiency here and the most bang for your buck. Schedule movements and everything. So for most people, you're just going to spend more time on the movements that you connect with your mind. Choose the movements that you can really feel the muscle working. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to be dropping more amazing tips to help you improve yourself. So please comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for more updates.